Hey guys, welcome back to Compound. It's been a while, but the F1 season's back up, and so we're here. And with Charlie as always, and yeah, straight into it. F1 Constructors / Drivers Predictions. Charlie, where do you think who's going where? Number 10.
10. No changes.
No changes?
No changes. I'm going Haas.
Oh, interesting.
Even with all their talk about, only having the development for the car last year at the very beginning of the year and then just scrapping it and basically saying, yeah, we're not going to develop the car and we're just going to keep with the one that we've got and put all of it into the new car. Part of me thinks it might just be like kind of down to the driver lineup as well.
But they've got Kevin Magnussen in now rather than Nikita
Mazepin. But he's had 15 months out is going to take some time to get used to, and I just think the other teams down there as well, I feel like they're going to be improving as well, and there's such a gap that even if they do improve by X percentage, if everyone else just improves a little bit, they're still going to be left lagging behind.
You see,
who have you gone for then?
Well, I was going to say, interestingly, from about 10th to about 6th, I struggled with this quite hard.
Yes,
I found 10th to 6th the hardest place stuff, and I think I've got something going to shock you in there. First of all, I've got 10th, which is Alfa Romeo.
See, I'm not surprised.
Because all I've heard is Bottas struggled against Lewis, obviously, but he openly said that Lewis was better, and he then kind of took his role. He's got the experience to help Alfa Romeo, but they've got Guangzhou, who's a rookie. So you've got like the old Kimi Raikkonen, Giovinazzi, that kind of like advanced and rookie thing they have. I was kind of tossing out because what do I put them there? And I looked at Williams and looked at Haas. I was like, Haas have had the most money and dev time. Last year they put no money into the car at all, put it onto this year. Alfa Romeo did some dev last year, and so in my head I was like, right, they're both on Ferrari engines. Where do I put them? So I was like, okay, go off the Ferrari engine. I'm putting Alfa Romeo bottom purely because they had less dev time than Haas and spent money last year rather than Haas doing 2 years of work. That's my logic for Haas. So 9th.
Okay. So 9th, I have gone for Alfa Romeo. Basically, everything that you've said there is basically my reasoning behind it, with the exception of Haas have so far to go up that I don't think that they're going to catch anyone. So yeah, I've gone Alfa Romeo. Who have you gone for?
Williams Racing. That was probably shocking.
Not Haas?
I haven't for Haas there.
This is where he's gone Haas to win the championship.
I've seen things from the testing earlier on where Haas put no silly quick times in. Haas's floor looked better. It's all basically down to me thinking the Ferrari package looks good. Haas is a lot of Ferrari package. In terms of the motor power unit, the Mercedes have had some troubles. The Mercedes engine is going to be tuned in. Their new Aero stuff, the Mercedes car looks so different to the Williams and other Merc cars. Merc Ferrari cars. So I think the Haas looked a bit Ferrari-esque. They haven't got the Baby Bell sides and stuff, but I saw it and looked at it, and their floor is a lot more developed than Williams. I was looking at it because more aero time. The higher up the field you get, they have less time, so the floors are left developed. But Haas's floor looked quite good, and they had some good speed. Even with Mazepin at the wheel, they had some good speed. Kevin Magnussen's back. I just think Kevin Magnussen actually. You've got Alex Albon, who's a rookie, back into the sport again. You've got. I'm just looking at Latifi, Albon. I think that I'd much rather see Mix true pace. Micken is I'm not sure. But Magnussen has got points for Haas in the past. He was 4th, 5th at one point of Haas. He can do it if the car's good and they've pumped all the money into it. But the question is, how long will the money dries up because of the sponsorship being pulled out of there now? Will we run out half of the season to see Haas fall off because they have to stop spending?
I think if they get a good start, they might be able to get someone else on board quite quickly in terms of the sponsorship stuff.
That kind of answered 8th and 9th for me is Haas and Williams. It just depends on where the money goes and who's on what.
So you've gone
Haas is 8th, Williams is 9th.
So I've gone for Williams in 8th. If anything, it feels more like the Alfa Romeo drop off than necessarily Williams doing anything special. Obviously Williams have got a bit more money actually behind the team now after the whole buyout and everything like that, so it'd be nice to see more development in the car for them and push on up. Albon I think's got a point to prove, and that can always motivate a driver to get going.
He's going to be hungry for it to be no, actually I'm worthy to be here, because he's binned off his Red Bull contract because they wouldn't let a Mercedes engine be a Red Bull driver, that stuff. So he's binned it off. He's gone, no,
apparently they were quite amicable in terms of letting him cancel it.
I know Red Bull were fine with it. Red Bull were happy for him to drive with a Mercedes engine. They were fine with that. It was Mercedes that were like, we do not want a Red Bull driver experiencing our engine. That's where the conflict came from. So, seventh, what are you saying though? Because I was talking about Red Bull. I'm thinking we're getting near big dogs now territory. Third to sixth, you've got some big names in there. Where have you put them?
Yeah, I think that gap between fourth all the way down to seventh could be kind of in any order. And my seventh place, I've gone for Aston Martin.
Oof. Okay, that's very different to mine.
Well, no, not the new. The old pink boys, obviously now the green boys, and there's different pink boys.
The pink boys back in it this weekend.
Who we'll get to later, yeah, but now they're French and not Racing Point.
Yeah, yeah. I was referring to Hulkenberg coming back.
No, well, yeah, that too. But yeah, so I've gone for Aston Martin in seventh. Who have you gone for?
The old pink boy, the new pink boys, Alpine.
Alpine.
I think they're the only ones on Renault engine or Alpine engine. Their car doesn't look anything groundbreaking. They haven't tried anything mental with it. It just seems very. Here's our engine that isn't that great reliability wise anyway. They've openly said we've thrown reliability out the window for speed now. So a car that was unreliable and it's French, going fuck reliability. We're going to go for all power, and they already have problem in testings. Like I'm just looking at. I think their glass cannoning. I think they're doing a bit of how Williams did last year. We're only good on straight tracks. They've kind of gone. We're going to go as fast as we can.
This is our niche, and we're going to
not even our niche. So we'll go as fast as we can. We may blow up half the races, but at least we'll get really high points for some races. And I think that's the kind of ethos they're going with.
But didn't Alpine because they've got a new team principal in at the moment, don't they? Or the owner, and they said that we're going to have 100 races, and by the time we've had 100 races, we're going to be back at the very top.
It's just I just don't see it happening.
They're only like it's only from last season, so they're only sort of 20 races in. So if they were to go down that route of let's just be as quick as we can, and if we break down, we break down. That gives you a long time in that 100 race period to sort the reliability issues out as a second. Because once you've proven that you've got a car quick enough, you're going to have drivers that are going to be like, okay, yeah, we're going to come and join you. It gives you better choice in terms of drivers rather than Mercedes looking at stealing Ocon and things like that when they're looking at who should race alongside Lewis for this season.
Unfortunately for you, though, this is the 2022 F1 review, not the 2028 one where the 100 races will be complete. So right now, that's why I've got them sat in 7th.
Yep. Well, I'm not too far off you. I've got them sat in 6th, so I'm not that hopeful. I am still bearing in mind that we are way off the 100 races. Although I did love that my first car had a Renault sticker in the back of it that said like Formula One World Champions, and that came from the factory like that. But yeah, so I've gone Alpine for 6th. Who have you gone?
This is really hard for me because I kind of did this off of a whim in my head because I could have put this any way, but I kind of went, all right. The money going into these two teams kind of pushed them higher up. The only reason I put this team here is because the less money. So I put AlphaTauri in 6th purely because in my head the amount of money getting funneled into the other 5 teams.
Yeah,
they shouldn't. If they get higher than 6th, well, I'm happy to see them do that. They shouldn't be there purely because the amount of money. All the 5 other teams are the main teams. They're a sister team. They're like a smaller team of Red Bull, so they shouldn't be any higher.
Yeah.
So they're the highest of the rest in my head. That as a secondary team, that's the best that's where I put them, basically 6th.
Fair enough. I've gone for AlphaTauri in 5th.
Nice.
So the one that you're missing here is Aston Martin, and I'm just wondering how high you're going to put them up because I don't think you'd put them top 3. Have you put them 5th?
No, I haven't. I put McLaren 5th.
Oh my days! See, I just don't know.
McLaren. I was thinking McLaren potential 4th this year. And then the brakes have been a fucking nightmare since practicing, and not practicing, testing even. They had it sorted for Barcelona, and they still apparently when the last Bahrain test, they still hadn't got managed to fix it. Lando was locking up all 4 wheels. I want them to succeed. I want them to succeed. I want everything about the team that I like the stretch they're on. But then you see these brake issues, and you've got porpoising from other teams. They've got a bit of porpoising as well, but this brake issue is a lot worse. Everyone else.
Got they were because P1 practice session 1 has obviously just finished.
Yeah,
and they've got a new part that's clearly just been 3D printed like recently because it's not covered in the nice finish. It looks like just that really matte grey. And they were talking to them, and they did say that it looks like it's a solution at least for now, but it's going to be something that they're obviously going to have to keep an eye on. They're going to be probably 3D printing this part every time they melt it for the next couple of weeks or whatever. But
that's what I formed my
that
opinion
sort
off
of
of
thing
not
isn't
today.
a worry.
Like, I collect my thing from like previous races. Like, no, this is I'm gonna go off. Today's happening right now. No, from the last Bahrain test is like that's the cut off in my head. That what I thought then is what I've gone off today because.
But if you're saying that, then you should be putting Mercedes down in the bottom 3 because of the porpoising.
No,
like know that teams are going to fix it.
Yes, no, but I was saying I know teams are going to fix it, but the porpoising issue, I'll get onto why I put Mercedes later on. But that's because other elements come into my pattern in my head, like the driver level. Like you may have a fucky problem with your car, but you've got a bad fucky problem with the brake issue. And you've got Daniel Ricciardo, who's known for late braking heavily into corners, so that doesn't marry up nicely in my head. Whereas if you've got a porpoising issue, you've got Lewis Hamilton driving your car, he could probably deal with bouncing around like a mad cunt down a straight a lot easier than Daniel Ricciardo, whose style relies on heavy braking late into a corner, and the key thing fucking up is the brakes. That's the bit in my head that put them down there.
So you went for 5th for McLaren, yeah?
McLaren, coming into 4th place. Who have you got in 4th, Charlie? 'Cause I find this interesting.
McLaren.
Interesting. Yeah, that's where I've got Aston Martin.
Okay, I kind of see it being split into 3 groups again, as per normal. Apart from the fact that there is a new addition to the front runners that I think we're both very.
I could have seen McLaren if these brake issues hadn't been a problem. I would have put in McLaren 4th and could have almost put a 1, 2, 3, 4 group.
See, yeah, so I'm thinking it's going to be that top 3 that we'll get onto. Then that middle pack and 4th down to 7th. And then I do still think that the Williams, the Alfa Romeo and the Haas are going to be sort of floating around towards the back. Love to see them all get points every now and again because it makes it more interesting. But yeah, so I've gone McLaren 4th. You've gone Aston Martin.
Yep.
Who have you gone 3rd? Because my one, I think, will surprise you.
You put Merc in 3rd, I'm guessing.
I have put Mercedes in 3rd.
That's shocking. I put Ferrari 3rd.
You put Ferrari. He's not on the hype train.
I'm not. I loved the baby bells when I saw them. I was like, that looks fucking amazing. However, Aston Martin was in 4th in my head because they got the Merc power engine, Merc power unit even, like McLaren. They're like that type of driver, but then they haven't got the team knowledge that powers Mercedes to be higher. So if you notice, all the main engine suppliers who have their works cars kind of things, are all the top 3 in my head because they have the better information. They know how it works just by proxy. So Ferrari I've got in 3rd. I like the drivers are good drivers, but they haven't won as much as the drivers in the other teams.
Doesn't necessarily matter. Just need to be consistently there.
Because I know this is we're obviously doing drivers, we're doing constructors, not drivers right now, but it all comes into play. You see Charles and Carlos, they're good drivers, but they can get a bit pissed off sometimes. And if the Ferrari, because I'm going back to 2008 when Ferrari were winning, they were hot shit. But if the last couple of years, it's annoying bits. It's not like a major fuck up. It's just like annoying bits to get to the drivers. I don't know if the mental, because they're still younger drivers. They're not like an older Kimi or a Lewis. Like, yeah, we know this shit happens, but like the mental game may not be there. That's what I'm thinking with those guys. Hence why I put it 3rd. It could be interchange all 3 of these. I'm going to say that for 1st, 2nd, 3rd because you can interchange them wherever you see it. I think it could fall either way. It's very different side pod techniques. Whatever technique you've done, the top 3 are the most drastic air techniques, and whoever's gone the right way, it will pay dividends to them. It's just a matter of who's gone the right route.
Yeah, so my thought process behind Mercedes were that I wanted to do something a little bit different, go a bit wild and out there. New cars, let's be optimistic that things are going to be different. Like, I'm a fan of Lewis, but also I'm a fan of seeing, at this point, just
you're a fan of the sport.
Good heart, like good racing, different teams, not just going in every weekend and it being like, oh, so is it going to be Max or Lewis today? But I think that the fact that George is on his 1st season, we don't know what that's going to be like.
Yep.
We've seen him at Williams where, you know, him when he had his crash with Bottas, he's going to be in those sort of high stakes situations a lot more. How often is he going to have accidents like that? Obviously, it was, you know, that was rare for him to do, but then how is he going to deal with being not just blue flags waved at him, oh yeah, let these people through, like you are fighting these people all the time, and if you go and put the car on pole, you got 19 people behind you that want to overtake you, rather than being towards the back of the grid looking forward. And
but you've seen him do it when that one time in the Mercedes seat. You saw him do the drive where
there's a lot of difference.
He got. I know it was a simple track,
and...
but he got back to first potentially twice, and then got set back and went again and then got set back. So you see him go through the grids. And that's not exactly they're all in a similar situation. Yeah, the track was easier, but they're all on the same track. So he managed to fight through the grid twice. Like,
the car was much better than the other cars, though.
And he didn't fit the car. The car.
Yeah.
So,
okay, that's just a comfort thing.
If you're driving, but if you're comfort at 200 miles an hour around a corner, if you're doing that much, there's a high speed track. Like, there was factors in it that wasn't optimal for him. The car's a good car. I'm not saying the car isn't a good car. You put that strongly, probably in a similar situation. But the fact that he managed to go to first, to back again, to first again, and then to back, like, and come all the way back up to seventh. Like, you've done ridiculous number of overtakes in one race. That's what I think.
I just think when it's new cars, the Red Bull and the Ferrari driver lineups, they know their teams, they know each other. I wanted to mix it up a bit, and I thought that was it could happen. It's not completely out of the realms of possibility.
Do you think it could be close enough where you'll have, this is because we're talking about constructors now, but the points can be close enough between first, second, and third where you get a Ferrari drivers champion, for example. Like Ferrari driver, say like Carlos Sainz wins the drivers championship, but then for Ferrari get P3 over constructors, because it could be that close where it's like you get a race, like just rotate through. It'd be a matter of like 20 points at the end.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Lewis Hamilton win the world championship, but Mercedes still finish third.
Because
if it was, if the podiums were Lewis, Max, and Sainz or something like that, like if it was that week in, week out, you can end up with that sort of situation where your world champion might not actually be not in the quickest car. Which sounds weird to say, but you know what I mean in terms of the constructors. Because
overall, it also weighs in the facts of whose teammates are stronger, because it's a team effort, and is George Russell and Lewis a stronger pairing for overall points for Mercedes, rather than a Perez and a Max, one getting 30, one getting P1s, one getting P10s a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And that's where I have put Red Bull second. I do think Max potentially could get. It's basically all on who's got the best car, and we don't know at this point. That Red Bull looks very quick from what I've seen at practicing and testings.
Yep.
The Honda power unit is really fucking good, like really good. That's how AlphaTauri have been doing it, and they got the similar it's bloody good engine. I just don't think Perez has got it in him to pull. I think there'll be a struggle of fight between them, Ferrari and Red Bull and Mercedes points wise, because they haven't got the strongest driver pairings in my out of the lot. And I've kind of put all my eggs in one basket, with my first prediction being Mercedes, being George Russell, thinking actually no, he's going to fucking smash it and probably get enough points. Not saying beat Lewis every race, but I'm saying he'll be up there. He'll be up there in the top 4 points easy, the top 4 places. Whereas you may get a Perez like quite a lot of last season. Perez P10, Perez P9, and these 1-2 points is a lot less than a P5 finish where you're getting like your 8-9 points kind of stuff.
This is where I think your argument for George doing well, falls down. Because you are judging that off of one race that he had in the Mercedes, essentially.
Yeah. Also, quali pace.
Qualifying's fine.
If he's dragging that shitbox
he's gonna
all the way up their quality,
up near the top,
and all he needs to do on this level is just maintain his position. If he can maintain, he won't degrade. But Perez struggles to get it into that position in the first place in racing quali. He comes up and he's got to fight all his way up. It's easier to maintain than drop.
If you're going to watch if you are going to do that judgment of like, okay, we're going to watch one race and George is great, he's going to win the world championship, and I hope he does. I'm literally sat here wearing a hat of him.
I've said you can tattoo my leg if if he wins it,
but the only thing with that is that you could look at the last race of last season, and if you were new to Formula One and you watched Perez defending and that battle where he lost the position and then got it back off Lewis for a little bit and defended even more, you'd look at that and go, "Oh my god, what a teammate! He must always be there battling away with Lewis to like help Max."
He wasn't. He was battling. He wasn't overtaking though. That's exactly. Perez is good at battling and fighting, but he has to be in that position to start with to do the fighting, and he never is. That's the weak Perez. He can fight when he's there, but it's get into the position where he's fighting. Because what's the point in battling fucking Ocon and P9?
Yeah,
like that's the bit. if Perez starts quali pace and getting a P3, P4, he can really fucking fight and help Max, and the team could do insane. But he struggles to get that bit in the first place, and that's why I think Russell's quali pace
is going to help more.
That's my logic behind it. Because once you're there, and it's harder to get to there during the race than it is to lose the position, kind of thing. I think
though as well, like you've got cars that should be able to be driven closer together, and if that results in Perez being able to fight more, then all of a sudden you could be looking at someone that can defend brilliantly. If he sorts out the qualifying on the Saturday, fair enough, that has been an issue. You've then got someone that can defend, let Max drive off into the distance, and also potentially be able to attack more because they're in a car that can drive closer to the other cars. Do you want to know? So you said that you did.
Well, by saying Red Bull second means I put Mercedes first. Yeah. So I'm guessing you've gone a red. No, I don't know where you've done it because you got Mercedes. You've gone Ferrari first. Yeah, you got Ferrari first hype train because they've been so much. They've gone.
I have gone for something different. I've gone Ferrari first.
Is it because of the side pods and you think they've banged it, or?
I just feel like similarly to Haas in terms of that thing of like, okay, we're going to write this current generation off. Let's focus on that. Ferrari, it feels like it's been a long time since I've been involved, and the higher ups, there's literally like films about the fact that Ferrari aren't enjoying the fact that they're losing driving series. At some point, Ferrari will always come back. Like, it's just an inevitability.
They are the highest championship, highest winning team ever in Formula One.
They are Ferrari. Like, it's going to happen. And with brand new cars comes that brand new possibility of, obviously, we don't know who's going to be quickest. This is all in the most pointless video.
It's basically who's got it right with the side pod, who's got their aero right. And then from there, next season, you'll see everyone go, oh, look, it's the no pods era. Everyone will turn up with no pods if that's the new way.
They'll all be driving like rulers, like
if you turn up and they go, actually no, having
the baby bells,
like it's basically whoever the first 4 races does insanely quick, who's got it right. By the end of the season, I see the cars changing drastically side pod wise where they can, because obviously radiators and how they're fitted, obviously. But I can see we'll basically see whoever thought the winner was going to be from these seasons reflected in the end of the season, what the cars look like. Because if the side pods disappear, you're going to see the Mercedes was the correct.
Yeah, I guess part of me is just hopeful that there is a change and it's going to be really exciting. We're going to go into every race and we're going to be like, oh, will it be Ferrari? Will it be Red Bull? Will it be Mercedes? And then there'd be the option that McLaren or Alpine can be up there, like just these random events.
That's the one bit I will say of all this, going off my practicing my testing I was watching, and you know how Mercedes was sat there in 4th or 5th, like as the standing speed timings. I was like, oh, fair enough, they're having the problems, and I was like, yeah, but they're sandbagging though, and I wasn't sure if they were sandbagging, but historically Mercedes was go, we're not very good, and then they turn first race P1 and win it. I saw a clip on Twitter, and it was George Russell doing a straight, one of these F1 TV clips you won't see during the race, but you can click through. And you know when he's in fastest attempt when he's going down the straight, and everyone's going up to 8th gear, he was only doing it in 7th. So like, I'm seeing shit like that coming through now. Like, oh, okay, when everyone was trying their hardest, Red Bull that mad lap, they're going to 8th gear. Mercedes weren't even hitting their 8th gear, so they were doing these times while holding back still.
There is. The only thing is, there is that thing that we can actually see that there is an issue.
Yeah.
Like, and how big that issue is obviously yet to be established when we go proper racing and in qualifying and things like that. I've already seen this morning the Alpine ripped off a side pod.
Yep, I saw. Ocon did
probably
not have a fun time.
Maybe just not fitted properly. But if you think nearly 2 hours worth of racing in the Mercedes with it porpoising and bouncing up and down, is that going to cause mechanical issues as well?
Gearboxes don't like being shook around that much. I remember hitting bumpy curbs and it causing issues.
So for once, it's not just Lewis going, oh yeah, the car just doesn't feel good out there. Like, we can actually see there's a problem.
And George described it as interesting.
Once that problem goes, we'll go back to the whole like, yeah, it's quite interesting out there, and there's some things that just don't feel right. Whereas we're watching like a bullet train level of smoothness. So yeah, it'll be good to see what happens.
So you've gone first Ferrari, second Red Bull, third Mercedes. Interesting. Yes. Well, hopefully we'll see how this all plays out over the weekend for the first race season in Bahrain. Thanks for watching. If you agree with me like you should, drop a comment down below. If you disagree with Charlie, drop it down below. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Cheers.